making my clients happy. Yeah, that was like the biggest thing, you know, like when I went full swing, I was just like, cool, I get to work on like all types of cars and this and that. But at the end of the day, it was never about money. It was, you know, that type of stuff. It was like, I want to see my clients smile and I want to bring joy, you know, for them bringing it to me and allowing me to work on their car. My name is Kevin Sibayan, owner of Premium Auto Salon Hawaii in Ewa Beach, Hawaii. How I got started into detailing. It all started like at a very young age. I was kind of OCD about things, like everything just had to be clean, you know, and I don't know, I got into like the car scene when I became like a teenager, got my first car. Started doing like car show stuff, and you know, I would go to the car show and I'd always notice like dirty inner barrels, and you know, the paint isn't, you know, like shine, like super shiny, still oxidized and stuff like that. And then I started detailing my own car, and everybody else just was asking me like, hey, do my car, do this. And it was just a hobby at first, you know, never really was for like the money or whatever. And I just loved it. I had to go to college in Arizona, and I asked my friend Elmer, that's actually downstairs, if I could work with them. You know, I was living in Arizona for 2-3 years, and COVID hit, and went back home, was that 2019, early 2020, and went full swing on my business. Oahu is a very, I wouldn't say like a small island, but it's a very tight knit. And, you know, the culture in Hawaii, especially in Ewa Beach, it's super family oriented. My clients, they always, you know, they're not even my clients at the end of the day. They become friends, you know, and they always invite me to stuff. And yeah, I just enjoy that aspect too. I want to always like give out deals, right? But they, you know, I started off at a very like low price. They're the ones telling me, hey, do this, go up at this price. I'll pay this price, whatever, you know. But that's the difficult part. When you start becoming friends and then you're just part of their family, and then like, but you still want to service their vehicles, it's just like, oh man, I don't want to charge you, but I got to charge you, you know? So that's the hard part. I'm very nitpicky, and I feel like me as a CQUARTZ installer, authorized installer, I have to set myself high. You know, it's those little details that really do bug me if they're not completed, right? So I try to do something different from the other guys that's on the island, you know, whether it's like small stuff. Like trucks is a big thing, you know, dressing the frame and stuff like that. Start small. Do not try to chase it for the money. Just because you see other people doing big things doesn't mean you can't get there, but don't try to be there right from the start, you know, because that's what I kind of did in the beginning. You know, I seen like all these like guys that their business is 10 plus years, right? I wanted to be that. And I wanted to do it from the jump, but I had no clientele, you know, and me trying to get there so fast, you can't enjoy the process, right? And when you skip it, like you just lose you lose interest fast, right? There was a time in my business actually where I wanted to give up because I seen everybody else doing good, and I was stuck. I was like, I was just having like a mental breakdown at the time. I was just like, you know what? I can't get there, you know? I was just like, yeah, I'm done. And thank goodness my brother and my sister-in-law, they seen where I was struggling, and they helped me big time during that time. So thank goodness they did, because I don't know, you know, I don't know what I'd be doing without detailing. This is pretty much my first job. I mean, I'm only 25, you know, so I don't know if I'm the youngest one here, but yeah, pretty much it. Yeah, just start small, work your way up, enjoy the whole process, you know, learn as you go. That's how I look at it. That's like, just so that way, when you get to the top or wherever you want to be, you know how to overcome certain obstacles, right? I mean, I think about it all the time, and it gives me something to look back at, right? See how far I came. I always keep pictures on my phone. Just, some nights I'm just like, I step back, like after work, step back, look at, the car that I just finished. I'm just like, damn. The CQUARTZ network is just a big family. Like how we were talking earlier. If like the Tacomas with those dots, I had to, I reached out. They're helpful. They said that they didn't see anything, so I was just like, okay, cool. But when there's certain cars that I haven't dealt with, certain paint, I could, feel free to call anybody in the network, and they're always willing to help. So that's what I really like about it. On my journey to, starting the business before Premium Auto Salon has ever started, I call him my mentor, but he doesn't really see himself that way. Randy Pack. He was the owner of Pack Shack back on Oahu, who was another authorized installer at the time. And I always used to ask him, like, hey, how can I get to installing this? Oh man, it's you can get it one day, you just gotta keep going and going. He doesn't like me talking about it like that, but if it wasn't for that guy, Ranny, I don't think I would be in this network. But he showed me and he told me about the CQUARTZ network, and it just fit. Like going back to how Hawaii culture is family, it just fit right there. Within like the CQUARTZ network, it's you could get guidance, a lot of knowledge, if you ever do need it. Meeting new installers, or seeing old friends, because I'm on an island, and like the only thing that I can, really do to see each other is FaceTime or fly out, but that's a big thing for me, is just seeing old friends and stuff like that. But also like the other stuff, the business side, gaining knowledge on marketing, and content creating, so that's one big struggle that I always had, was marketing and content creating. And like today we spoke about it, right? So take that back home. Everybody here is like, going back to like family stuff, right? And close friends. Nobody is like in competition with anybody else, and I feel like having Verge, like, I don't know, it elevates everybody in a way that's very positive, I don't know, you just grow as a person. Like all the stuff that we talk about, networking with people, and, picking each other's brain, right? Just to help one another out. You could take that back home, and like for me, every single time that I leave Verge, I apply it back home, and I see my business just, damn, like, wow. Yeah. The last Verge was at Western Shop, right? And all that stuff that we talked about, and I was already a pro installer. After coming back home from Verge, like, I was getting like calls and stuff like that, and I was just selling pro like crazy. I was applying pro, like 2-3 times a week. And I was like, when I used to do one a month maybe, and it's like weekly now. So yeah, I'm happy about that. The detailing industry in Hawaii is super, super saturated. Everybody, is detailing cars, because Hawaii is such a automotive driven type of state, right? And I don't know, something about that, I'm very appreciative of each and every one of them. I just wanna, thank, of course, Ranny Pack, um, Elmer, Elmer Barrios, and Ramfrey Barrios, because they took me in and pretty much, took me under their wing to show me how the industry is on the business side and on the working side, polishing paint. You know, just washing in general, that type of stuff. And of course, my immediate family, you know, my niece, my nephew. When my niece was born, my brother, he told me, he was just like, you have to be a good example. You have to set the example. And that kind of lit a fire up my butt. I was just like, sounds good. Because I don't have kids myself, right? So I kind of treat my niece and nephew. My niece is 10 years old now, and my nephew, he just turned 1. But yeah, they're my motivators for sure. Yeah, that's something that I never did tell them. I never did. My family means a lot. Yeah, man. My name is Kevin Sibayan, owner of Premium Auto Salon Hawaii, and I am Team CQUARTZ.